things were supposed to be different after Bob Iger came back. After he fired Bob Chapek and came back to supplant him, like was likely his plan all along, people had so much confidence that things are going to be different now. It was all just Bob Chapek's fault that the stock was falling. Well, unfortunately for Disney in the past year, because it's been nearly a year since Bob Iger took back over, Disney stock is down another 30%. It is bleeding. They are failing in nearly every aspect of this company, and that's what the media is asking the same question. Is Disney a failing brand? When you look at their box office failures, when you look at their streaming failures, when you look at their troubles at the theme parks, getting people to actually go, there's a problem at Disney. And one of the things that was recently revealed was one of the most wild reports we've seen about all the drama surrounding Bob Iger and Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek was handpicked by Bob Iger as his right-hand man and the person to succeed him. And of course, mysteriously, right before COVID hit, Bob Iger decided to step down. Now I want to dig into this report that lays out a ton of crazy, like Mean Girls, catfight, bitter teenage drama between these two men. New report portrays Bob Iger and Bob Chapek as childish and insecure. Petty details abound. This is all coming from a CNBC story. These are the highlights. Here's a rundown of the more dramatic details to come from the CNBC report. In 2020, after he announced he'd stepped down from the CEO position, Iger, who was set to continue at the company for 22 months as executive chairman, had a conversation with Chapek in which he allegedly refused to give up his office. The office contained a private shower built for prior CEO Michael Eisner, and Iger told Chapek he lived for 2 shower days where he'd use the shower before attending a nighttime event. Chapek instead moved into a smaller office on the same floor. So giving a position to CEO, but not wanting to move out of the CEO's office. That's interesting. In his announcement of his departure as CEO, Iger allegedly jokingly called himself Big Bob and Chapek Little Bob. In March of 2020, during a flight to Disney's annual meeting in Raleigh, North Carolina, Iger caught Chapek off guard by telling the new CEO, who had only attended the meeting once as a guest, that he would lead a question and answer section of the event. Chapek chose to study background materials in a private section of the plane with Iger, who expected they would prep together, took offense, and later spoke about the exchange as the first sign his replacement wasn't the collaborative CEO he was hoping to replace him in the company. So what you're starting to get is Bob Iger was trying to big-time Bob Chapek at pretty much each and every opportunity. And Chapek has yet to say anything officially. I should point out, there is right here, Chapek allegedly told friends his tenure at Disney was 3 years of hell. But these fucking Bobs are too hard to keep track of. But Chapek has yet to come out and say anything officially about it. On the flight back, during the chaos over developing COVID-19 pandemic, Chapek held his first CFO-CEO meeting with then CFO Kristen McCarthy. Iger reportedly snapped at the two, calling it disrespectful to him to hold the meeting in front of him. Chapek would speak to this as the first sign Iger regretted stepping down. In April, Iger, who disagreed with Chapek when basically firing some people at Disney World, gave a statement to the New York Times. You guys all remember this. Iger gave a public statement that he disagreed with what Bob Chapek was doing as CEO of Disney. How do you do that and undercut the person who you handpicked to actually supplant you there? Chapek was reportedly furious and called Iger, saying he didn't need a savior. Iger told friends no colleague had ever spoken to him like Chapek did in his life. Absolutely wild. This entire thing is crazy. The fact that Bob Iger threw a fit over a bathroom. As Chapek's and Iger's relationship continued to deteriorate due to Chapek's controversial reorganization of the Disney distribution strategy, he grew paranoid about working with people he saw as close to Iger. One executive he didn't trust was head of Disney Communications, Zanaya Murka, who some refer as Iger's second in command. In 2021, he began soliciting advice from an external communications firm, Brunswick Group, without informing that person. They go over the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. Chapek, again, was pretty hard line about that. Bob Iger didn't want to be soft as shit about the entire thing. In November, Iger threw a retirement party at his home and reluctantly invited Chapek. He was relieved when he learned Chapek had a speaking engagement. Chapek canceled his plans because of the optics of not attending and showed up at the party where Iger omitted him from his speech where he thanked dozens of people. This is literally catgirl shit. In fall, prior to November 22 quarterly earnings report, Chapek was blindsided by McCarthy when she went off script during a board presentation, and that Disney needed to retool its strategy after the Netflix stock fall caused a massive shift. Chapek largely downplayed McCarthy's predictions, and during a Disney World retreat, opted to spend most of his time taking part in activities rather than attend a strategy meeting. Essentially, this caused a big breakdown, and a lot of these people started shitting all over Chapek, and this is the beginning of the end for him to be forced out. When the meetings ended, Chief Communications Officer and Head of Investor Relations, so this girls' squad, told Chapek the reaction of the quarter could be devastating. Chapek reportedly reacted by referring to the two and McCarthy as the mean girls, and anyone who felt trepidation about Disney's prospects, Eeyores. He ignored financial team's advice to deliver a message acknowledging the losses, and his cheerful speech during the earnings call permanently turned most of the executive team against him. In December, after Chapek was fired and replaced with Iger, those three girls reportedly received pink sweaters from a colleague as an inside joke to Chapek's Mean Girls comment. These are all the things that were happening between Bob Chapek and Bob Iger while Bob Chapek was trying to take over the company. It sounds like a lot of bullshit from Bob Iger, and honestly, sounds like a lot of stupid shit from Bob Chapek as well. But either way you slice it, Bob Iger comes out looking very, very badly in this entire thing. And now that Disney stock hasn't had the turnaround that so many people were expecting when he took back over, that has continued to make people ask this question: is Disney doomed? Is Disney a failing or failed company, and what they can do to fix it? Because right now, no one has any confidence in them. And why would you? Bob Iger used to be praised by nearly everyone in the entertainment industry. They used to hold him up as some kind of, oh my gosh, it's so amazing, so incredible. But now it's not the case. Now Bob Iger is target enemy number one of the actors and writers during their strike, and all the investors and shareholders have no faith that Bob Iger can return them from the depths that they're at right now. Disney is an absolute shithole.